Hi there Booktube, my name's Emma and this is Emma's Bookish Lifestyle. First of all, before I start the Booktube Newbie Tag, I'd just like to thank Eve Alexandria for your support in prompting me and backing me to make my first ever video. I've been contemplating it for some time now and really didn't know how to start, so I'll apologise first off for the method of recording. I'm doing this on my mobile phone. But obviously I hope that if you enjoy this video I will make further videos and obviously the quality and standard will improve of both content and the method over time, so please bear with me. As you can see, I'm currently sitting in my lounge. It's not a very big place that I live in, so the bookshelf behind me is literally the only bookshelf that I have. So I will be honest and upfront now and say that I do also quite heavily have books on my Kindle, but my love is just paperbacks. I just absolutely adore paperbacks. The stroke and smell and everything. I'm that geeky person that the minute a book arrives through the post, I smell it. I know, it's weird, but it's something I've always had, and the more buttery the cover and the more flexible the book, all the better for me. But there you go, one of my little foibles. Anyway, so let's start the tag. So why start a booktube channel? Well, I recently started a few months ago a blog, Emma's Bookish Lifestyle.blogspot.com, and I've been uploading reviews onto there, obviously setting up my Goodreads account and posting via Twitter. At my tag for Twitter is at Emma L Robertson 6, and just generally following booktubers for the last year and a half to see the kind of books that they're reading and help develop and expand my current reading style. Basically, I love the mixed media idea. I love the idea of being able to talk to you on a video and you being able to see me and see my reaction and see my excitement when I read a book. And I don't have a great deal of friends who are bookish, so this also means hopefully that I will get to have some internet bookish friends that can discuss things with me and make it a bit more immersive. So that's the reason why I've started a booktube channel. The second question is, what can I bring to booktube? Well, I've always loved reading. I've loved reading since I was a very, very small child. I remember, you know, from Billy Blue Hat to the Vegetable Gang, and yes, I was born before the 80s, so that was kind of my starting point, moving into obviously the traditional people like Beatrix Potter, Enid Blyton. Absolutely loved The Magical Faraway Tree. I think I read that quite a few times when I was younger. Moving into the Worst Witch series, which I absolutely adored and loved. Mildred and Her Cat. Roald Dahl's books, read all of them. Stick of the Dump, which just moved me on even further, and then towards my high school years when I was reading David Geddings and first got exposed to fantasy books. So that's why I love reading. I find it very immersive and it takes me into a place where the stresses of general everyday life aren't there. You can follow the adventures or the true life stories at times with non-fiction books that just take you out of what might be upsetting you or on your mind at any given time during the day. I'll apologise in advance if you hear a crunchy noise on the video. That is my chihuahua. I have two, and this is Drogo. He's currently chewing on his rope toy. So if you hear a crunching, that could be why. Okay, so all-time favourite book. Well, a couple of these are not going to be sort of highly feminist options, I'll be honest with you, but based on the time period that they were written in, I like them. I've read them so many times. I find them books that I feel like I'm coming home to. They're books that get me out of a reading slump. and I've just thoroughly enjoyed them. So basically all of Jane Austen, I've read all of them. Primarily Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and obviously my namesake, Emma, are rereads for me a lot. I like Northanger Abbey, but I'm more immersed into the TV adaptation that ITV did of it than I am the book. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't the best for me. I know Emma is a little bit cheesy and a bit matchmakery and very old school, but there was a wit and a sense of humour to that particular character, which kind of reminds me a little bit of me in my younger years, when I was a lot more naive and a lot less streetwise. In regard to non-fiction, I have read that quite a bit over the years. Anthony Beevor's, and apologies if the name is slightly wrong, Stalingrad. I've read books by Primo Levi, who I highly recommend if you're interested in World War II stories. He was a prisoner of war at a couple of the death camps / work camps, and he managed, by the skin of his teeth, but he managed to survive, and there's a few amazing books from him that diarise his period during that time, and also his return journey home, and that's quite an eye-opener in and of itself. I'm also a big fan of Maya Angelou. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, again, I've read numerous times, and her other books. The only one I think I've left to read is Mum, I think it's called. Apologies again if I've got that wrong. But this year, two non-fiction books that I've absolutely loved. The first off was from Jen Campbell's recommendation, which was Gary Young's Another Day in the Death of America. The most interesting, thought-provoking, heart-wrenching, at times tear-wrenching read, but so current and so needed to be read, to the point where I do think these kind of books should be on the school syllabus. The naivety of some people that no regulation is required concerns me. I know there may be some American viewers, so this is purely my own opinion, and obviously I'm in the UK, but it did quite astound me, especially some of the more political elements of that book. And I've also got lined up the book that she recommended on Syria, but I haven't as yet read that one, so watch this space. I will do a review on that on here shortly. But I'm sure I can't do a review as good as Jen Campbell, so again, bear with. But if you're interested in knowing about those books, Jen Campbell did do a video on them, and they were, I think it was entitled something like the books you should read this year, or something like that. Favourite fictional character? Well, again, not really very easy for me to do. I've read quite a few books. I like a strong female character. I like a female character with her own identity, not someone overly reliant on anybody. I recently read a book called Smoke Hunter, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and would recommend to those of you who are reminiscent of sort of Lara Croft / Indiana Jones-esque books. I mean, she started out with promise and very strong sort of role. I think the love interest in it might have defeminized her somewhat, but she was still a really good adventurous female character. As I say, that's The Smoke Hunter, I believe it. Really sorry, I can't remember for the life of me the name of the author. I will improve on that, I promise. And also my ultimate favourite male character is Tyrion from the Game of Thrones series. Absolutely phenomenal. Dry, witty, well-read, humorous, backstabbing, frustrating, conniving, bitter, twisted, lovable, the best character I think I've ever read in a fantasy series, and he is just played immaculately by Peter Dinklage. Best casting I've ever had in a TV series. I'm a big lover of TV as well, so I may well post TV and video reviews on here if that's okay. Let me know if you'd be interested in that, because I do watch a lot of TV and videos. Big film goer as well. But yes, Peter Dinklage, best casting in the world ever for that role. And even if you aren't into Game of Thrones, if you wanted to just watch that series, trust me, it's worth watching it just for him. So, least favourite character. I don't really have a least favourite character, although I did come out of Hunger Games very much screaming at Peter. I didn't like him. I'm sorry for fans of Hunger Games. I'm not a big YA reader. I do read some YA. But, yeah, no. He was just wishy-washy, wimpy, whiny, and just generally a character that even when he got stung by that creature or was ingested the poison in the second book, I wasn't rooting for him at all. In fact, I was Gale all the way, and I know that's very controversial, so I shall leave it there. All-time favourite author. Well, I've mentioned a couple of them that I've reread over the years: Jane Austen and Louisa May Alcott, Maya Angelou. Terry Pratchett, I find that he wrote amazingly about modern times in a quirky and unique and very humorous way. I absolutely adore the books he wrote on death. Mort, Reaper Man, just amazing. They just had me in stitches. And again, definite rereads if I ever get the time to reread. Unfortunately, my TBR is massive. Also, recent new authors are Daphne du Maurier. I solely blame Simon at Savage Reads. I swear you brainwashed me with your amount of mentions of Rebecca. I haven't read Rebecca yet, but it is on my TBR list, along with a lot of her short story collections, which accidentally fell into the cart. What I might do is do a sort of TBR type video or recent purchases type video, so you can see what kind of things I've got on my bookshelf at the moment, what I'm planning on reading, and kind of things that are interesting me and attracting me at the moment. But yes, very much Daphne du Maurier. I'm pretty much near the end of the Rendezvous and Other Stories, which is her first short story collection that I've been exposed to, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. It is, again, there are some stories I would say in there that aren't particularly feminist bent, but she is a superb writer. It's been a great introduction to her, reading her short stories, and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. But I've just now looked at the clock and realised that we've gone over 13 minutes, so I do apologise. I've been blathering on for way too long. It's been lovely to meet you. My name's Emma, and this is Emma's Bookish Lifestyles. If you'd like to know anything else about me or like to see anything specific on my channel, then please feel free to leave something in the comments below. If not, I'll speak to you soon. Take care, Booktube. Bye.